All right, guys, welcome to Brofluent. We are back. It's
We back?
been a week and a half.
Yeah, we,
Been,
we know we got busy. We got busy.
yeah, guys had things to do,
Oh,
dudes being dudes, bros being bros, fluents being fluents. You feel me? Like, you got to do what you got to do. All right, but
bro.
of course, bro. How you been?
Me, I'm good, bro. What you up to out there in New York?
Bro, we just chilling. I've been in PA. I've been back. We saw shout out Aunt DeGory, just had his 20th birthday. Linked up with him for his thing.
All right.
Corona. Socially distanced, masks on, all appropriate. Things going on out there. So people was enjoying that. But you got some big news, bro. For y'all that do not know, Tom was representing Brofluent out on My Sports Radio with Jon Entel. Entel
Yeah,
was the last name, right?
yeah.
Shout out John, good dude. Me and him got into some stuff too, so he's a good guy. But the main thing is I want to hear your experience, bro. Like, what was it like? First, you got lost. This we got to hear the whole story.
Yeah. So I do security at the building that John works at, and we just met probably 2 weeks ago for the first time. And he just comes out. We started like bullshitting about whatever, and we started talking sports and everything, and like we started going back and forth. I'm like, all right, this guy knows what he's talking about. Like, all right, respect. And then he's like, yeah, I do a whole sports show, and I'm like, oh. Funny thing, bro, I got a little YouTube channel with my friend. We just started. So we go back and forth the whole thing. And he's like, man, why don't you come on the show? We'll debate some stuff. We'll talk about Madden ratings. I was like, bro, perfect. So I went up to Robbinsville. It's like 50 minutes from where I live. So I was like, I didn't know where I was at.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me a while to get there. I was in the parking lot. I left the parking lot. I came back to the same parking lot. I had no idea where I was. It was like hidden, so I had no idea. But I saw a producer outside, so I'm like, oh, this is official. There's a producer out here.
Right.
Let's do this. Let me get I walk up, and then I walked in, and it was dope, man, to have like a real like studio and like producer in the back. Like,
right.
Got a dope setup. Shout out to him for inviting me, man, and I hope we could do stuff in the future because it was a lot of fun.
100%. Then, him not getting
come at you though with the takes, bro.
He did. We was talking a lot, because this is, if y'all don't understand, like, this is my boy. He's going on the show. Like, I can't come down there yet. Like, right. Hit me last minute, like, bro, he wants me on the show, all this. I was like, hey, bro, go for it. Let's do it. And I'm like, yo, I'm going to watch this. So I tune in a little early because I'm like, all right, I'm going to see what, how it's going to go,
Yeah.
If I got to warm room or something, I'm going to hit him before. But he was talking a little hockey, and, like, I had to comment. And then at first I'm sitting there like, there's a few people in this, no worries. And all of a sudden I hear, and, Herc C got challenged you. I was like, hold up. Like, give me a second. What's he talking about? And then I look at that, and obviously I'm commenting when Tom's on. So, but he said good setup. I saw he had the big screen on the floor, the table, on the floor with the mics and all that. Studio setup.
And it was dope, man. When you're sitting in the chair, you can see the TV, see what you look like. You got everything's professional over there. So it was definitely cool. So shout out to John, man. I'll be seeing him. I see him every day at work.
Right.
So I'm sure hopefully we'll get together again and we can do everything together. But it was cool. And I loved it, man. It was something that we would hope to have one day,
Hopefully. With any luck. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But so there was no anything else other than that? Like, you just walked in, got him right to the chair. Because I know when I was watching, it hit 5 o'clock, and he was like, "Do we have Tom? Is Tom? Oh, Tom's lost. He just texted me. He's lost. So we're gonna do some fill until that, and then
I was lost, bro. I'm driving around. I finally just pulled this parking lot. I asked this lady outside. I'm like, "Do you know if there's a radio station around here?"
Mm-hmm.
She, yeah, you got to go over here and down the alley. So I'm like, "Oh, all right." Because John never told me it was freaking hidden in an alley.
Damn it, John.
Right. I'm like, damn it, John. All right, so I go down there, and then I see the producer, and he's like, "Are you Tom? Are you here for John?" I was like, yes. Up a bunch of stairs, through a couple doors, and then you saw when I walked in, you saw him react like, "Oh!" Like,
right, just right in the chair.
I was a little nervous. Like when I was about to drive there, I'm like, "Damn, I'm about to be on the radio. I gotta bring my A game." But as soon as I sat down, dude, put the headphones on, it was literally like I was just like bullshitting with my friend, like
right.
Talking sports, and like I wasn't nervous at all, so it was cool.
Right, and hey, you could tell, bro. You did really good on it. You not just just blowing up my boy, but He was killing it. You saw like after the first few minutes, you got a little comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, but I do gotta question some things because John did come at me with some things, and I feel like I gotta respond. I would like love to be on the show. Obviously, we gotta do it together. Hopefully, we can collab, like Tom says, do something nice. But the first take was a hockey take. And we don't talk a lot of hockey here. I know this. We don't talk a lot of hockey.
I will admit I'm not a hockey guy. You know I'm not a hockey guy.
Right.
I don't tend to be a hockey guy.
Of course.
It's a cool sport. I never got into it. I didn't grow up with it. You, sir, are a big hockey guy.
Oh, my
Big
gosh.
Islanders guy. Tell me how you felt about him talking bad about your Islanders.
Bruh, that's the thing. He wasn't talking that bad. I get where he's coming from with some things. Clearly he's a Rangers fan. Yeah. So once that was said, I was like, oh, I get it now. Like, Rangers want to act like they're our big brother when that's definitely not true.
Right.
But the big thing that I questioned him on was he had a caller. I think his name was Brian or Ryan or something like that.
That seemed like he knew what he was talking about.
That's the thing. He seemed like he knew what he was talking about, but he kept saying he was an Islanders fan. And I'm listening to him, and I'm like, bro, like, you're kind of a questionable Islanders fan for one of the things you're saying. Like, you were definitely a hockey guy. No question. I'm not going to question that.
He knew about, like, the salaries, other guys in other countries.
Yeah. He knew about, some things that I knew, some things I didn't know with the cap and stuff. But this was my question. His big statement that I had to question him on was he said, the Rangers are perennial playoff contenders.
Mm-hmm.
And I commented, the Rangers haven't made the playoffs the last 3 years. And then he responded by saying something around the likes of, yes, they haven't made it the last 3 years. I get where you're coming from if you say, what have you done for me lately? But before that, they made 11 out of the last 12 years. So I'm taking the longevity of it, and I challenge you to say, what do you value more, the recency or the longevity? Well, you know me. You've heard me talk about all the sports. Yeah. I'm a big what have you done for me lately guy. But I take the past into account because I'm not going to like we did the AFC QBs list. I had Ryan Tannehill on my list at 6 or 7. I believe it was 7. And you didn't have him on your list at all. Totally cool. But I had him because I wanted to respect his last season. Now, if I just went off the numbers, why not put Ryan Tannehill as the third best QB behind Lamar Jackson and Pat Mahomes? Because that's not realistic. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not true. But with that being said, I got to ask you a question. Because we both basketball guys. So I'm bringing this to the basketball court. Are the Atlanta Hawks perennial playoff contenders?
No.
No. The Atlanta Hawks made the playoffs for 10 straight seasons.
Mm-hmm. They were.
Before missing it the last 3 seasons.
They were the Jeff Teague.
With Paul Millsap, Al Horford, Kyle Korver. And that's my thing. The Rangers were. They were perennial playoff contenders. 11 out of 12. That's amazing accomplishment. No cups to show for it. Unfortunately for them. That's my little shot because I'm an Islanders fan. But it's still, you went into a rebuilding mode and they weren't in the playoff picture, but they're going to be in this playoff format with this new they got this new system of doing. I'm pretty sure it's 20. The NBA is 22 teams. I can't figure out how many the NHL is. It might be 24.
Mm-hmm.
But it was all the teams that weren't mathematically eliminated.
Right.
So my thing with John is, hey, man, I respect it. 11 out of the last 12 years. I'm not taking credit away from what the Rangers did. Henrik Lundqvist, one of the best goalies of all time, deserves the love he got. But if the Hawks aren't a perennial contender in basketball, and
they're not.
Right. And if you say, even if you go back to hockey, the Chicago Blackhawks won 3 cups and made the playoffs for 9 straight seasons. They haven't made it the last 3 years either. I don't consider them a perennial playoff contender either. So I think maybe over time, they're trending up. They got a big player in Ontario. I can't say his first name. Artemi Panarin. And he's, MVP finalist, Hart Trophy finalist. So hopefully that works out. But I wish him the best, but I mean, pump the brakes, bro. Don't be too much of a fan. You feel me? Like, I know the Islanders aren't perennial playoff contenders. We're there in and out, so that's the crazy thing.
Hey, again, I don't know hockey, but that Hawks reference makes a good point.
Right. It's a different team. That's my point. It's a different team.
Makes a good point.
Right. And hey, I gotta ask you a question though on one.
What's up?
About both of you. I disagree with both of you.
Oh, boo, what? Come on, bro.
Both of you.
What are you saying? Come on.
Ron Gronkowski don't deserve to be ahead of Austin Hooper in Madden, bro?
Bro. The last time
this is on the spot, but I got to find out the answer to this.
The last time you saw a Gronk play a football game, please tell me what you thought of him on the field. Please tell me what you saw.
I think I saw the best tight end in history age. I saw him age. He's hurt. He's been hurt a lot.
Yeah. See, it looked like he was running in mud, bro.
He was fast, but yeah.
He was running in mud.
I think John was crazy saying he deserves a 98. That was kind of nutty.
Crazy saying, "Oh, he's a WWE champion." I was like, "Yo."
I mean, he is. The man can throw down.
You can't take it away from him. Let's be real. Okay, maybe he's still the best blocking tight end. Congrats, bro. Congrats. You can block for Tom Brady, bro. What can you do out for me? Can you run the routes? Can you catch the ball? Can you get me first downs?
Okay.
I'm skeptical. I shouldn't say I'm skeptical. I believe you can still do that. But a 95?
I think a 95 was too high still. I don't think I'm dropping him below Austin Hooper, though. I'm putting him at like a 93.
It's a discussion.
I'll put him at a 93, but I'm moving Zach Ertz to a 94. I'll put Zach Ertz ahead of him.
That's a joke from the start.
I agree with that. All right. I need your explanation, bro. I need to find out, bro. Gronk behind Hooper's that's a big statement.
I'm not a Gronk-hater. It's just Madden. Lamar Jackson's a 94. Rob Gronkowski didn't play. Is a 95.
Lamar should have been higher. We agree on that. And, bruh, I mean, that also brings me to my next one because we know this was a big one. John came at me with this.
Yes, he did. I had to talk shit to you, too. I did.
Nick Chubb or Alvin Kamara?
Bro, what in your right mind makes you think Nick Chubb?
Now, here's my thing. I got to ask you a question first. It's going to start with a question. I'm prepared for this one.
Go ahead.
Now, look, I might have jumped the gun.
Maybe.
I don't know if I can definitively say Nick Chubb is better than Alvin Kamara. I don't know if I can definitively say that.
Right.
But I don't think you can definitively say the other way either.
Oh, I think you can.
And here's why.
And I think
I'll tell you why.
All right, go ahead.
I'm going to leave you the stats of two players, bro. Two players.
Go ahead.
16 games played, 94 rushing attempts, 425 rushing yards, 4.5 yards per carry, 5 TDs, 87 receptions, 751 receiving yards, 7 TDs, and 0 fumbles. So that's a total of 1,176 all-purpose yards and 12 total TDs.
Okay.
The next player had 14 games played, 171 rushing attempts, 797 yards, 4.7 yards per carry, 5 TDs with 81 receptions, 533 total receiving yards, 1 TD, 4 fumbles, and that's a total of 1,330 all-purpose yards with only 6 touchdowns.
Yep.
Do you feel those players are comparable?
Yes.
Okay. Which are you taking?
I'm taking the one that has more, that can do more for me. I got one guy who, yes, is doing more in the rushing category. I got one guy doing more for me in the receiving category.
Okay, so out of those two players I just read to you, because the first one only had 94 rushes with 425 rushing yards.
Right.
Had a little less yards per carry. Had the same amount of rushing TDs, but he had more catches, more receiving yards, more receiving TDs, with less all-purpose yards, but more total touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first player compared to the second player. I know it's a lot of information, so I'm going to give you time. It is a lot. It's a lot I took into account.
The first guy is what you're saying.
What?
It sounds like the first guy.
Sounds like the first guy.
Sounds like the first guy.
Tom DeFilippo, that first guy is James White in 2018 compared to Alvin Kamara last season.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yes.
So
Okay.
here's my point. It's not that Alvin Kamara isn't a good football player. It's not that he isn't a top 7 back. I think he is one of the most overrated guys for what he did his rookie year. Because from what I just read to you, he did something similar to what James White did 2 years ago. Last season. 2 seasons ago. 2 seasons ago in 2018.
Okay.
So Nick Chubb, on the other hand, has 1,500 yards rushing, has topped the 900 yards twice in his first 2 seasons, while Alvin Kamara hasn't done it once in 3. Is Alvin a better receiver? Yes. But at a running back, I might take Nick, and I think it's a lot closer than people think.
Listen, I'm not a Nick Chubb hater. I like Nick Chubb. Alvin Kamara's been doing it since he was a rookie.
Fair.
Running out of the backfield, catching out of the backfield. This man is basically playing wide receiver and running back. He's arguably the second best receiver on the Saints. Michael Thomas is the first. I think he has the second most targets.
With 81 receptions, it's fair to say that.
So, right, we're saying Nick Chubb at how many yards did he have?
I think he had hold up. I think he has 1,490 rushing and around 200 and something.
So
all right, here it is.
278 receiving yards.
278 receiving yards with no touchdowns on 36 receptions.
Okay.
8 TDs total, no receiving touchdowns.
Okay. So
and 3 fumbles.
Let's look at Kamara here. 2019. Meanwhile, I'm talking to you about a running back, by the way. He's not a wide receiver. He plays.
But that's my point.
Listen.
All right,
he
I
plays
got you.
running back for the Saints. He didn't play wide receiver. 81 receptions.
Yes.
533 yards.
That's not that impressive. The 533 yards isn't that impressive.
Targets. And by the way, above all that, he ran for about 800 yards.
Yes, 797. That's fair.
Exactly. Just round.
But here's my point. I feel the big thing that a lot of people say with Alvin is he doesn't get the attempts that guys like Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry and Dalvin Cook and guys like that get.
Playing for the Saints, which you're
right.
Yeah.
And my issue with that is I told you before from what we read with James White in 2018, he only got 94 carries compared to 171 of Kamara.
Yeah.
If I go off that stat, I should say if James White gets more carries, he should outperform Alvin Kamara. Now, no one in their right mind would think that. Like, I don't genuinely think that.
Yeah.
But I think when you use that logic, it's unfair to say at the end of the day, if I just say he's going to produce at the same rate, he's going to do that. Alvin gets hurt a lot, too. And I'm not in, like, it's the Knicks. He doesn't miss too many games.
Right.
But at the end of the day, he's always splitting the backfield. And to say a top 5 back, and you've never run from more than 900, I think it's 880 something in a season.
Uh-huh.
How can I say you're a top 5 back? You've never broke 1,000. You never broke 900. Nick Chubb broke 900 his rookie year.
In today's football, catching out of the backfield is almost as important as running out of the backfield.
It's fair. Right.
Has mastered it. We can all admit he's the best in the NFL at catching out of the backfield and also.
Right. He's the best dual threat back, no doubt.
Alvin Kamara is the second best dual threat back in the league. Now, if we're talking straight downhill runners, Nick Chubb is probably better. Probably a better back than Alvin Kamara if we're talking straight downhill. But if I'm taking everything into account, yours, my back, I'm taking Alvin Kamara. But
okay.
Have your opinion.
Fair. Have your opinion. We can agree to disagree, but I got to ask you one more question. And before that, are you taking Alvin over Zeke? Because Zeke's not that good of a pass catcher either.
No, I'm not, because Zeke led the league in rushing 2 years in a row just a couple of years ago. And just because the what have you done for me lately hasn't been great with Zeke, don't forget that Zeke's a monster.
Right. And my point is Nick Chubb was second in rushing last season. He was only behind Derrick Henry.
Yeah, he was.
I mean, look, I might end up, if I'm starting a franchise or something like that and I need a franchise running back,
Right.
I might end up taking Alvin because Alvin's definitely more talented.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
But I'm saying right now, as of today, going into this next season, I feel like we make a lot of excuses for Alvin. And I don't think Nick Chubb's underrated. I think he's properly rated. He's a borderline top 5 back, probably top 7.
Yeah.
Him or Dalvin Cook's argument.
Yeah.
But he's clearly behind Derrick Henry. And if you switch him too, if the Saints went out and traded Nick Chubb for Alvin Kamara, which would be crazy, traded Alvin Kamara for Nick Chubb, I think the Saints are just as good. And I don't think the Browns get worse, but I think you have a lot of questions with can Kamara handle the workload of running in between the tackles since he historically doesn't do that.
You have a point there, but I think you have to take into account, each situation they're in. Kamara's obviously in a good situation with Brees and the Saints to be catching out of the backfield instead of running.
Right. Well, as long as we got that off our chest. I want to let John know what I'm thinking. I want to let you know what I'm thinking. I want to let the people know what I'm thinking and let them understand that, hey, this might not be as crazy as you think. All right. So I think we got to revoke my drug test that John wanted me to take. We got to revoke my drug test. That's got to go out the window.
Right.
All right, man. That's a good one though. I like that. I like your points. I get what you're saying. I like Alvin. I'm not an Alvin hater. I'm just, hey, bro, like, come on, show me a little more. I know what you got. Show me a little more.
I respect it.
All right. And now, thanks to John and all that, because that wraps up everything we were talking about with him. You know, hopefully, like we said before, link up, do something. Hey, bro. Drop the location, man. I'm down to Jersey. I got no issues. My schedule's freed up recently. Oh my gosh. And in other news, the NBA's back.
The NBA's back, baby. Let's go.
Back.
The King's back.
The King's back. Playing right now. The King is playing right now and we're missing it.
Right now. I will say this. I didn't get to watch any of the games because I was busy doing his show and on the way home. It was a little bit of a drive and stuff. But the Nuggets, man, with the
big lineup.
Ball lineup. We got Jokic at point.
Jeremy Grant.
Bull, Plumlee, and what?
Millsap. Yep.
Hey, listen, I ain't mad at trying it now. Now's the time to throw it out there.
Right. It's a scrimmage. Why not?
And can we talk about Bull? Oh.
Bro, my number one most surprising player so far. Most impressive, too. I mean.
When my man pinned it, brought it up the court.
Pulled.
Is that a guard? Who is that?
I think he thought he was KD for a second.
Oh.
I think he genuinely thought he was Kevin Durant.
Must don't let the hype take over, but that's a good debut for Bull right there.
Very, very good. Well, I think it was 16, 10, and 6.
Who did they
6
play?
blocks. Oh, they played Washington. That's the only asterisk.
Right.
He played Washington without Bradley Beal and John Wall.
Right. Cool for the Nuggets. I love throwing Jokic at point guard, seeing a big man. Dime.
I think Jamal Murray wasn't available. From what I saw, I didn't see him play. So I'm assuming he was unavailable, and that's why they tried it.
Yeah.
And like you said, shout out to Mike Malone for being one of the most underrated coaches in the NBA doing that. Like, not many people would think to do that. Like, you know what? I'm just going to put – if you walked up to anybody and said, yeah, we should put Jeremy Grant at the 2.
Like,
what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But
it's a cool thing to try, and a scrimmage is perfect.
Oh, perfect. Nowhere. I think they won it anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, man. Like I've watched all of the games so far except Lakers and Mavericks, which is currently on right now. I've seen a few highlights on my phone here and there. But
let's talk about your poor Nets debut.
oh my gosh, that was one of the things, bro. If I had to say one of my most impressive and unimpressive teams,
Yeah.
most impressive right now, bro, Portland looks like they really might make a run for that.
Well, they're always dangerous. Always dangerous.
Melo was really good. Gary Trent was really good. Hazonia was getting a bucket. He was getting to it. I was like, yo, what? Like, where was this in New York, bro? Like, you blocked LeBron one time, made a big deal. Now you over at Portland, like, wilding for no reason.
Right.
And then Miami looked really good.
Duncan Robinson.
Ooh.
If he's open from 30, just count it. Just count it.
I love his quote, too. Hey, shooters don't forget how to shoot, man. I was like, oh, that's a good-ass point. I'm with you.
That lineup is poor.
Who's?
The Nets.
Oh, the Nets are – that was my next thing. The Nets are really bad.
They're bad.
They're really bad.
And as to be expected, obviously, with all of their players not playing.
Right, and they couldn't play with – Joe Harris didn't play. Jamal didn't play. Someone else didn't play. Justin Anderson didn't play. Not like that's a big deal. But, Lance Thomas got fat. Lance Thomas, that might be something we need to talk about. If you look up how Lance Thomas looked in that game, no disrespect to him, in that scrimmage, he had a nice 3, bro. With the Knicks, he was a little skinny, bro. He's fat. He got Raymond Felton weight all of a sudden. Came out of nowhere. But yeah, bro, the Nets are really. You notice I'm not wearing my Nets gear right now for a reason.
I saw PG get into it.
That second most impressive player.
First snatch.
The pass into the front court across the timeline. Here's Leonard with a chest pass. Now George, top of the key, loses the dribble momentarily, regains control, steps it back. What a filthy move.
PG's getting into it, Buck. Yep.
And this is a big question. Now I gotta ask you because I was feeling this watching it. I know you said you haven't watched it 100% yet, but are the Clippers Paul George's team? Are they PG's team? Kawhi might be the best player, but are they PG's team?
Why do you think that?
I mean, watching it, that's what it felt like. It felt like Paul George was the best player on the floor. And
maybe last night he was.
That's true. That's true. It can change. Yeah. But I think when you take into account the amount of games Kawhi misses during the regular season, his impact is different. Yeah. Don't get messed up. His impact is different. And maybe he'll turn into playoff Kawhi in the playoffs and prove me wrong. But it looked like Paul George was it looked like that was Paul George's team, and he was really getting to it, and probably one of the most underrated guys in the NBA. Still.
I think you make a good point. We've seen when he was on the Thunder where he was in the MVP conversation for most of the season. We've seen in the regular season that he can take over and be a superstar. Right. But when those playoffs come around, and Kawhi's gonna go, hey, you saw what I did over there in the 6 last year? You saw what I did there? All right, give me back the reins. I'm going to take us to the promised land. Now, I'm not picking the Clippers. They're not my title favorites. The Lakers are.
Same with me. I'm
biased towards LeBron because I'm a big LeBron guy. But I don't think that the Clippers have anyone for AD, and I think that's more of the problem. We got Kawhi and PG. LeBron's going to have a tough time. It's not going to be easy. He's going to get his, but it's not going to be easy.
Right.
But tell me who the Clippers got to stop Anthony Davis. I don't think it's anybody. Don't say Montrezl Harrell. Don't say that. We've given it to him. Don't.
Here's my thing. I think Montrezl can rough him up. I don't think he's going to completely take him out of his game. But I'm still with you with the Lakers. But I think it's just – I think LeBron's really going to show how much better he is. And I think – because here's my thing. I was a big Kawhi fan in high school. People could attest to that. I was saying that man was underrated for years. I was happy when he went to Toronto. Like, I messed with Kawhi. Kawhi and PG were two of my favorite players during high school, early college, and stuff like that. And even I don't think Kawhi is better than Giannis, let alone Bron.
You don't think Kawhi's better than Giannis?
I don't think Kawhi is better than Giannis. I don't. And I don't think he's better than KD either.
I don't think he's better than KD. You're right about that. But the playoffs last year, it's hard to argue that he's not better than Giannis.
Lowry with the steal. He has Giannis behind him. Gets to Leonard. He stuffed a facial.
That's a good point. It's fair to say that.
Right.
I just think while Kawhi has that, he has that killer mentality, he has that clutchness. I think people are falling in love with last season too much.
Yeah.
Because his game is like him. It's quiet.
Right,
he's gonna hit the open ones. He's gonna play amazing defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the best two-way players in the league, if not the best two-way player in the league. Yeah. But Giannis's dominance, KD's scoring ability, Bron's all-around game. It's not to knock Kawhi. It's just the best two-way player, in my opinion, is just gonna come after those guys.
Yeah, I think, of course, just going off the top of my head, I still think LeBron's the best player in the league. And I don't necessarily think it's that close either. I still think LeBron's a little bit ahead of everybody.
I think it's him or KD, but I think KD's injury has made it to the point where Bron's really
I believe KD's the second best player. We've seen him in the playoffs rise up over LeBron, shoot it, bury it. We've seen him.
Right.
Third, I'm gonna say Kawhi off of what we've seen last year, and then fourth, Giannis. But I think very shortly we'll see Giannis over the next 2 years past Kawhi.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm cool with that. I just think it's I just think we got to pump the brake. This is another pump the brakes thing. That might be the new thing. We might need a graphic for that. We might need a pump the brakes graphic.
If KD doesn't get hurt, the Raptors don't win the championship.
Thank you.
I
feel like a lot of people ignore that.
Yeah. If KD doesn't get hurt, let's be real, they're winning the championship.
He had what, 15 in the first half, and they were up crazy.
Yeah.
Kawhi wasn't beating KD. He wasn't going to beat LeBron either.
No, he wasn't.
So,
but the circumstances were what they were. You can't blame him for that KD got hurt and he balled out.
Right. Nah, he did show up. He beat Philly genuinely with that shot. Showed up, outplayed Giannis. Respect to that.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, man.
It's just good to have NBA back, man. Good to talk NBA. I've missed it.
It is big time. Yo, I had some other players that were kind of interesting. Is even from that Clippers team. Yo, Reggie Jackson showed out.
Yeah, I didn't see any of him.
Reggie Jackson went in his bag a little bit on some players. It looked like he was their starting point guard, and they don't really – I don't want to say they don't need Pat Bev because you do need Pat Bev. But it looked like if Pat Bev comes back and isn't in that good a shape since he had to leave and all that, that's a big question. Joakim Noah didn't play bad. Joakim Noah, he held it down a little bit. He started because Montrezl wasn't there and and Zubats wasn't there. Mm-hmm. But, maybe Joakim deserves some minutes.
He can play defense. You know that.
Yeah, he grabbed some boards, got some points, did his thing. Did Joakim Noah things at 35.
He's a tough guy to have on your team.
Right. Did you see it from anything? I know you said you didn't watch him fully, but did you see anything from anybody else that's
I don't think so. I think Bol was one everyone was freaking out about.
PG, you said.
PG.
Duncan Robinson, you mentioned.
We're not watching it right now. I'm hyped to see LeBron.
Right.
Hyped to see AD. That's about it.
Right. That's fair. But I got a wild card for you, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not going to know this name.
Oh, here we go.
Not going to know him. I didn't know who he was. The Kings game. That's who played the Heat. It was Kings Heat.
Sacramento?
Yeah. Daquan Jeffries.
I know the name. Don't know anything about him.
Getting a buck. Was getting a buck. To the point where I was like, who's 19? Hold up. Who's 19? Oh, he just scored again. Who's 19? And I'm looking at him like, yo, then all of a sudden now he goes, Daquan Jeffries again. And I was like, Daquan Jeffries?
I know the name. You know why I know the name? 2K. That's why I know the name too.
You play too much 2K to roll with Daquan Jeffrey.
When I'm making trades, you gotta make the salary cap work.
Gotta make this salary.
He's one of those guys that's going in just as a part of the deal.
You're not trading for him?
No, he's a filler. You know what I mean?
Oh, come on, bro. I'm about to start my season trade everyone but Daquan Jeffries.
That's your guy now. The one.
That's my after one summer restart scrimmage.
Right.
Daquan Jeffries is my MVP. Him and Brooke Lopez, bro. Brooke Lopez was getting to it today. Splash Mountain was in full effect. Yeah. That man was he was going at it. Robin Lopez hit a 3.
I saw he had a corner 3 off a pass from Giannis. I saw that.
Giannis did Giannis things. Like, I'm not impressed. Like, you do that already. I know you do it.
Yeah,
there's nothing different.
Euro step dunk down the lane. We've seen
Euro step dunk, easy dime. Like, you're a dominant player, bro. But yeah, bro. I mean, other than that, I mean, might gotta wrap it up. I mean, this is gonna be a quick episode for you guys. Yeah. Feels like everything was, there's not much to talk about. I mean, we ain't baseball guys. You saw Mookie Betts got paid.
Yeah, but good for him. He deserves it.
Exactly.
Cool.
Talked a little hockey. We don't usually do that. Big football talk with the Kamara Chubb thing. And, there's only some scrimmages going on, and your boys are trying to watch Bron play Luka still. So
trying to watch the end of that scrimmage,
Exactly. So, hey, bro, signing out, both of us.
We back now. Hopefully we'll get back at it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.
All the good stuff, Quick episode for y'all.
We'll get together soon. We'll do a bunch of stuff together.
Right.
So, rifling off videos and, just trying to get better at it.
100%. And, hey, our usual shout-outs. Shout out My Sports Radio, Jon Entel. Big help, big part of the episode this week. And hopefully in the future, come down, do some things. And
every Wednesday, 4 to 6. It's on Hamilton Radio if you're driving. He's also always Facebook Live streaming it. And then, if you type it in on your URL or whatever, you go to channel 2. After you copy the link, that will be him. So go check him out because he's really good.
Yeah. And go follow Brofluent on IG. Gonna get that popping again.
Yep.
And, I mean, let's do it, bro. Deuces. See y'all. Outie.